What killed a Christmas classic for nearly 30 years, and who's credited for its revival? Let's get into the story behind Santa Baby.
Behind the Christmas Hits with Drew Savage.
Santa Baby was first recorded by Eartha Kitt and released in 1953. It was written for a musical comedy film called New Faces. In August of that year, lyricist Joan Javits and composer Phil Springer went for a meeting at New York's famous Brill Building and were asked if they could write a Christmas song for Kitt to be included in the movie. Javits suggested Santa Baby for the title, and then Springer went to work on the melody.
And we sat down, and within about 5 minutes, I had a melody for Santa Baby. And Joan had given me a few lines of the song, namely, slip a sable under the tree. And so I wrote, Santa Baby, slip a sable under the tree. And then I said to Joan, you know, we need a little something after the word tree. And I played her the music, under the tree, da-da. And Joan said, okay, for me. So we already had, within 10 minutes, Santa Baby, slip a sable under the tree for me.
After completing the song 3 weeks later, Springer and Javits went back to the publishers, and Phil wasn't exactly sold on what he came up with.
I played it for Charlie and Joe, and I said, fellas, it's not my best melody, but it's the best that I could do for this particular idea for Eartha Kitt. And they jumped out of their chairs and said, Phil, it's great.
The song's arrival was announced in an ad in Billboard magazine proclaiming it 1953's big Christmas record. But it faced a lot of controversy. On November 14th, 1953, Eartha Kitt performed the song for King Paul and Princess Frederica of Greece while they were attending a banquet in New York City. Politicians in attendance thought the lyrics of the song were inappropriate for the royals and made their feelings known to reporters covering the event. The royals weren't bothered a bit, but the word was out that this sexy Christmas song was out of line, and Santa Baby was banned in some southern U.S. states.
Yeah, but that did more good than harm, because that just simply added to its publicity.
In a classic case of controversy creating even more attention, Santa Baby became the best-selling Christmas song of 1953. A year later, the publishers wanted a sequel. Have you ever heard this year's Santa Baby? It featured updated lyrics about the things on the wish list for Santa, and that wasn't the only new version of the song.
Yeah, and that was a big mistake. The publishers said, Phil and Joe, we need new lyrics for Santa Baby. We need a country lyric. We need a children's lyric. We need a jazzy lyric and so forth. So Joan wrote 5 lyrics, and Eartha Kitt recorded every one of them, and that killed the song for 28 years. The fact that the public could not discern what was the real lyric to Santa Baby because they were so different in all these versions really killed that lyric until I became the publisher of that song 28 years later.
So yeah, Phil is now the publisher of Santa Baby. In the early 80s, Springer and Javits had the chance to buy back the publishing rights. Javits reportedly wasn't interested in being a rights holder, so she sold her share to Springer, who then became the sole rights holder for Santa Baby. The first thing he did, and this was so smart, was to pull back on all of the updates and focus on the 1953 original as the definitive version of the song, and would only allow new recordings to use those original lyrics. Still, Santa Baby's comeback wasn't immediate, not until 1987.
I got a phone call from A&M Records, and the lady said that a famous singer wants to record Santa Baby, but will only do it on the condition that you give up your royalties from this record. So I said, well, who is this great artist? And they said, we will not tell you until you've given us your answer. And I said, my answer is yes. I will give up the royalties. Now, who is the artist? And they said, Madonna, and I fell off my chair.
And that began the revival of Santa Baby. In the years following Madonna's recording of the song for the charity album A Very Special Christmas, and we're going to talk a lot about that album in this series, there was all kinds of interest that led to it being featured in everything from The Simpsons to The Sopranos, and new versions recorded by Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, and Michael Bublé. Bublé has actually been the one singer Springer has allowed to bend the rules and slightly alter the lyrics.
Well, let's put it this way, Drew. I would not let anybody change the lyrics of Santa Baby unless the money in it was so much that it would not be fair to Joan Javits or even to my own family not to agree. So that when Michael Bublé's secretary called me, she said, Mrs. Springer, we would like to change the lyric to Santa Buddy. My answer was, I will allow him to change one or two lines, but the title must remain Santa Baby. But as I say, Drew, there was no way, that's like turning down Frank Sinatra on a song was in the 50s and 60s. You couldn't do it.
The biggest Christmas song of 1953 faded away for a long time, but has been back in a big way since 1987 and doesn't appear to be going anywhere anytime soon.
Kids from 6 years old to 96 love that lyric all over the world.
Thanks for joining us. For more stories behind the Christmas hits, hit subscribe. Tomorrow, it was just a joke. The signature part of a classic Elvis song was just supposed to be a joke. It's the story of Blue Christmas. We'll see you then.